Well, after a tough week outdoors in week 5, but still getting the win for the Michigan Panthers, Jake Bates returns to fashion and returns to form in week 6 as the Michigan Panthers move to 4-2. Now, they are in the USFL conference and they are in second place right now. The top 2 teams from each conference go to the playoffs, which will be starting in 4 weeks. And I think that they are 3 games ahead of the nearest team. So barring a collapse down the stretch, the Michigan Panthers will be going to the UFL playoffs, which means that if the Detroit Lions want to take a look at Jake Bates, then they're going to have to wait a little while longer. Now, here's my thoughts. I know we picked up James Turner, a UDFA kicker. I know we have Michael Batchley, and I know this is now my 6th video on Jake Bates. I believe it is. It's either 5 or 6. I looked at my video list. It had been 3 weeks to the day that we've talked about him. He wasn't needed or something like that the week after I made a video. And then last week he missed 2. But today, the reason I'm bringing it up today is because just like week 1, when he got on the radar, wasn't as long as week 1's kick, but Jake Bates kicks another game-winning field goal in addition to going 5-for-5 in the game. Now, if you watched the game or caught the end of it, actually his kick was blocked as he put it up. It was from 49 yards, I believe it was, 47. I think it was 47. His kick was blocked. But the Renegades had 12 men on the field, so that extra man might have helped contribute to that blocked field goal. And he was hit on his plant leg, I believe it was, hobbled a little bit, but still managed to kick the game-winning field goal. Now, shout out to the comment section in my last Jake Bates video. It looks like the NFL teams cannot talk to Jake Bates until the end of the UFL season. And like I alluded to just a few minutes ago, it looks like the Panthers are going to for sure be heading to the UFL playoffs. So I'm going to pull up their standing right now. So you have the XFL conference, the USFL conference. Let me bring this in real quick. I think this is interesting. I really do hope this league stays around because not only do I enjoy spring football, but I think it showcases talent that otherwise would go under the radar and never have a chance to make it to the NFL. So if you can see here, this is need to be updated. The Michigan Panthers are now 4-2. They are now, I don't know if the Memphis Showboats won today, so they're at least 2 games ahead of the nearest team. It's probably likely that these teams are not going to make the playoffs. The Panthers would have to have a collapse down the stretch, and the Birmingham Stallions almost mathematically at this point cannot. As a matter of fact, with 6 wins and only 4 games to go, they won today. So they mathematically cannot lose out on a playoff spot. Why am I bringing up the UFL playoffs? Because the Michigan Panthers are likely, the top 2 teams are going to go from each conference, and the Michigan Panthers are, without a collapse down the stretch, they're going to have to face off and go against the Birmingham Stallions, which will extend Jake Bates' season by 1 week. Now, here's the deal. There's going to be a ton of teams, a ton of NFL teams that are clamoring for this guy. I'm serious. Like, if I don't have the kicking list brought up for a lot of teams, but outside of a few teams, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens, I can't think of more than 5 teams off the top that won't be looking for a kicker. And I just think the circumstance for Jake Bates is too perfect. It's too perfect. And I'm hoping, here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that because at the end of the day, he's going to be a free agent. He's going to be a free agent kicker. So the Detroit Lions are not going to have to battle a contract. They're not going to have to battle anything like that. It's going to be up to Jake Bates and his decision. And I think it's perfect. I just think it's perfect. And yes, we brought in James Turner, but I mean, okay, we're not going to go into the season with 3 kickers. We're not going to go into training camp with 3 kickers. It's either going to be Jake Bates and Michael Badgley or Jake Bates and James Turner. I truly believe that Jake Bates will be a Detroit Lion. I just think it makes he's already set up here, and why not? Wherever he's staying at during the season, he can just put roots down. You know what I'm saying? And I think if you're Brad Holmes, the Lions have already, so just to make this clear in the comment section, the Lions have already, along with multiple NFL teams, reached out to his camp, but he cannot sign until the season is over. So he can't even sign like with a future or anything like that. He has to wait until the season is over. I promise you at least 2/3 of the league, if not more, are going to be looking for his services. When you go 5 for 5 and you constantly nail 60-yarders with ease, you're going to be a coveted kicker. And I really do hope that Brad can find a way, not only Brad, because it has to be up to Jake as well, but I really do hope that Brad finds a way to convince Jake Bates to stay at Ford Field. I look at the crowd and I'm like, man, it's nobody there. It's nobody there. Could you imagine Jake Bates take the maroon Panther red and give him Honolulu blue and the crowd around? Now, I don't think that the crowd is an issue. Like this guy he did kick in high school. I don't think that he can hit these kicks because there's only 3,000 or 4,000 people there tops. I don't think 64,000 is going to make a difference, but that would be something to see. I'm not going to put his skill on the fact that there's nobody in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that we can sign this guy. I would love for Jake Bates to stay in Detroit. And as long as he keeps doing stuff like this, I believe out of the 6 games, he's only missed 2 field goals. And that was last week with the win. They were 62 and 58 yards. And the win, when you kick like that, man, you need a lot of kind of a trajectory, a lot of, lift on it. And the win probably took it. I didn't get to watch the game, so I don't know how it happened, but I've seen kicks in the NFL where stuff like this has happened. So those are, as far as I know, I didn't get a chance to look at all the stats. Those are his only 2 misses out of, and he went 5 for 5 today. 5 for 5 today with, okay, what was his, he made kicks of, okay, so the stats in the UFL, man, they're tough. They're tough. His game winner, okay, so even the attempts. Okay, so here we go. So the way that they do it is if you even attempt the kick in the UFL, but there's a penalty on the play, then I believe that you get a re-kick, like it counts. So he kicked from, it says good, but if you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, he only kicked 5, but it's 7 here. So, either way, longest was 60. And remember when Michael Badgley kicked the 54-yarder, we were scared to death in that Rams game. He went 3 for 3 in the postseason, but we were scared to death. And I feel like I would be much more confident with a guy like Jake Bates, but we'll see. I really hope that we can convince him to stay here. I think with everything is lining up perfect where it's like, dude, you're literally already here. You have a locker. You have a home somewhere that you're staying. You're already playing at Ford Field. It is perfect. It literally is like this was dropped in our lap. This guy went from obscure, unknown to probably one of the best stories of that entire league. So hopefully the Detroit Lions can convince him to stay and work out a deal with Jake Bates, man. I don't feel bad for Badgley or Turner. Neither one of them guys. I mean, we need a guy that we can trust. And he's never kicked. I've never seen him kick in a Lions uniform, but I already trust him. So let me know your thoughts, man, in the comments below. Jake Bates does it again. The legend grows. This dude is a legend. They were chanting MVP at Ford Field. So if they do have a UFL MVP, he is probably very close to winning it. No, I mean, with constant 60-yard field goals, man. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, this channel is brought to you by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.